It's called Board of Seaport Ritchie Community Redevelopment Agency Board Workshop, Tuesday, February 3rd. I'd like to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, have roll, please.
Chairman John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Vice Chairman Chris Mayer. Let the record show that Vice Chairman Mayer is absent from today's meeting. Member Robert Hubbard.
Here.
Member Lisa Burke.
Here.
Member Christine Sullivan.
Here.
City Manager Don King.
Here. Okay. We don't take actions here, but Chris is in Virginia teaching a class, so I don't know if we need to, next council meeting, if we need to excuse him or if workshops are outside the scope of that. But anyway, he's in class teaching. So moving on, the one thing, if you're watching at home, we did, if you log into Zoom, you'll be able to see the share very well on your screens. But we also, if you're watching the YouTube stream, we did set the camera preset to go to this monitor here, so you should be able to see as well on the YouTube feed. But if you're having trouble, obviously log into the Zoom. The link's on the website. With that, first up is comments from the general public. I do have two signups. Start with Alan Rose. Welcome. State your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Alan Rose, 10221 Hilltop Drive. And I have copies I'd like to present.
Can we have some copies coming in?
If he's wanting something for the board, I would action it. I mean,
okay. Get a motion to receive his handouts.
I'll make a motion to receive Alan Rose's paperwork.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second. Further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks.
This is the last minute fine for me. I didn't realize we were having the meeting, and I said, I've got something that I should bring to you.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here. Alan Rose, Pasco Coastal Improvement Council. And right now I've worked throughout our waterways for our 24-mile coast, and I do have a particular insights into Port Ritchie and New Port Ritchie area here, and that's what you have here broken out. If more is needed, I do have more, but at this point, this is going to concern Sims Park all the way out through all of our other parks, and I'll just read it to you. Basically, it's the dredge from Sims Park out to the Gulf of America, controlling depth of 12 feet and width of 100 feet, removing all past side cast dredging remains and taking the spoils to Journey Key and the newly created offshore barrier islands north of the channel. Anyway, we'll talk about Miller's Bayou. Needs complete dredging, all the canals, radius, and what you're going to do here by doing this proper dredging here is you're going to recreate what should be in existence as a radial current for Miller's Bayou. That'll help keep the quality of water. It'll improve your quality of water. And then you're going to extend Brasher Park. Brasher Park is huge. You can make that such a beautiful, pristine park. Take and extend that some 1,500 feet west, northwest, ending at the mangroves at Cow Key. Dredge Brasher Canal from Miller's Bayou all the way to the park, and then west, northwest to Cow Key. And any mangrove displacement will be added to the park at best locations, improving water quality and flow to all tributaries. In Brasher Park, a dredge the North Canal, the North Channel, going to the EMC school, using these dredge spoils from the North Channel and Miller's Bayou, and extend Brasher Park that additional 1,500 feet, creating a new, more functional beach, fishing, swimming, and recreation area, protecting mangroves, manatees, seagrasses, wildlife, and other natural resources so prominent along our coast. And we're going to go down to the resiliency. In the back of Miller's Bayou, there's already an underpass, but it does not function properly. The water, and this will help with your creation of the proper radial current in Miller's Bayou. Suggesting you have two underpasses and hook them up to the Brasher Canal. And then that will give you a really good flow along Brasher Park, and the fishing and the fisheries. You're going to be creating a 1 mile beachfront half mile on each side. It'll be good for people to play volleyball, people to go swimming, people to go fishing. You'll know to fish. You'll want to fish on the ebb tide, on the north side, and on the flood tide on the south side, and it'll be great for fishing. So, so that's there. And dredge the main north canal, Brasher Canal, DMC, like I say, west of the water. This is also going to help the state park to the north. All of this water flow, you're going to be bringing back the water flow, and it will help all of the parks in the area.
Thanks, Al. And we appreciate the work Pasco Coastal Improvement Council doing, so appreciate that. Next up, I have William Barber. Welcome.
He answered my question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all the science I have on a sheet. Any show of hands, anyone else like to speak? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to comments from the city manager. Pass it to Mr. King for his comments.
Mayor, I'm going to turn it over to Sal and Derek here for these discussion points that we're going to be doing with the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council for tonight. So,
Okay.
Sal?
Is this board business?
Yeah.
So no additional comments besides
Nope,
board business?
fine.
Okay, so we'll move right to board business. Item number 1, park plan charrette, and I will pass that over to Mr. O'Carey to introduce.
Thank you. So we've been working with Derek Smith and myself with the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. We have Sarah Vitale and Allison Bednar tonight to do basically what this is going to be is it's a park charrette to look at a 3D model that she will be able to show and we can manipulate on scene. It's pretty much a concept, and we want to gather input from council. Derek, if I'm correct, was it about a month and a half, 2 months ago that we had the public meeting?
It's middle of December.
Yeah. So we had a public meeting in the middle of December to receive public input. We had about 20, 25 people to point out ideas. Sarah and Allison were there to collect that data. They've put in most of that data into this model, and now tonight, council is going to provide input on, if you want something manipulated, changed, taken out, moved around, and then this way she'll have final guidance to create a final model. So we're going to present 4 parks tonight to go over, basically Olsner Park, Brasher Park, Nix Park, and Waterfront Park. Just remember that this is just an open concept. You pretty much have the ball to call where you want something. Nothing is permanent. This program that she's going to present is that everything is able to be manipulated. So you want a sidewalk moved, 10 degrees to the right, we can do that. There is no final drawing here, so feel free to provide input, and that way we can get closer to a final result.
Okay. Let the record show that Vice Chair Mayor has joined virtually. So, welcome, Chris.
Vice Mayor, Mayor, were you able to hear anything I just said, or should I repeat?
Very
We can.
clear. Thank you, Sal.
Oh, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Okay. All right, so I will turn it over to Sarah and Allison, and they will begin presenting.
Thanks, Sal, and thank you, Derek. Let's do a quick audio check. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, are we able to turn it up a tad?
Yeah, I turned it up.
Okay.
Awesome. And just let me know if I need to speak more loudly. Thank you so much for having us. And I'm joined today with my colleague Allison Bednar, who's also on the call. And I'm going to share my screen and kick us off with just a brief presentation to catch you all up on the work that we've been doing. Let's see. And let me know once you can see this well, and I will go ahead and jump right in.
Yep. We can see.
Awesome. All right. Well, good evening, and thank you again. We're here to do a digital charrette, and I'm really excited to do that and fly you through our model and the work that we've been working on with your staff. Again, I'm Sarah Vitale, the Director of Civic Technology with the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. We have Allison with us, our GIS analyst. And for our agenda this evening, I'm going to do a brief project overview into some of the findings from our workshop a few months ago. And we'll discuss some of the preliminary concepts that we were discussed in the workshop, and then we will fly you through this live model and let you take a look and collect your feedback and discuss some wrap up and next steps and what you can expect. So the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, we're a coalition of local governments in the Tampa Bay region, working with 6 counties and 23 municipalities. And Port Richey is our newest member, and we're really thrilled to be able to support you all this year. Mayor Hoover is our representative on our board. And we were contacted about this project, I believe, because of some of our prior work with the city of Newport Richey. And I think also because of our unique process of co-designing with our governments, allowing you to kind of jump into the 3D model with us and develop the site plan hand in hand. But I did some work with the city of Newport Richey a couple of years ago for the Rivergate Palm District plan. We made some models, and they used that to take it to the next step after conceptual design over to engineering. And now you can see some of the work that's been happening over the last few years, really exciting, and the transformation of their US 19 gateway entry areas is starting to take form. So it was really exciting to be a part of that work. So the overview of the project, so far we've conducted a preliminary strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis and conceptual visions of each park. We did a site visit and a community workshop. We're presenting to you all here right now. And then after this, we'll put all of this into a final document report with the final SWOT analysis and all of these conceptual visuals along with the 3D modeling files so that you can take them and continue to work on this project and take it all the way from concept to a built project. And I know it's an exciting time because of the CRA funding and that there's a timeline here that this funding needs to be invested in the park. So it's really an opportune time and an exciting time for Port Richey. So when we began looking at the park, we started with the planning work that's already been done in the city. So the community redevelopment plan, and some of the takeaways from that are these top 3 that Port Richey wants: a connected city, an active waterfront, and a place for all. And there's a lot to that, but stronger links between the park and the rest of the public spaces is a really key facet of that. We did our initial site visit on Friday, October 24th in the morning for a few hours with staff, and we documented the existing conditions at each of the parks, took a ton of pictures, which will all be delivered to you all in part of our documentation at the end of this project. So you have the existing conditions of the park. And we're working in Brasher, Olsner, Nix, and Waterfront Park, 4 beautiful, beautiful waterfront parks with an incredible opportunity. And some of the observations across the 4 parks is that clearly the waterfront access is a defining community asset, but also that there's some infrastructure needs in each park, and the quality of the infrastructure varies from park to park. You can see in the photo there's some standing water in the disabled parking area in Nix Park at the top. I know the restrooms, there's discussions of ways to improve the restrooms at each facility, but this is a picture from Olsner Park, the center. And then the bottom pictures from Waterfront Park, discussions about the kayak launch and how it needs to be repaired. So each park has certain strengths and weaknesses and things that, in terms of maintenance and improvements, need to take place. So we've documented a lot of that. Shade, seating, restroom facilities, and then they're limited, they could be expanded. And then the several parks experience conflict between the vehicles, the trailers. That's really to Nix Park. Some of the congestion between the voters and the residents and visitors is clearly a concern in that park. So we'll have a discussion about the best use there in terms of the boat ramp and how we can accommodate all these uses. And then the shoreline conditions, there's opportunities to improve resilience and help with flooding while enhancing public access to the waterfront. So the preliminary SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses being favorable or unfavorable conditions that we should be considering. And then in terms of existing conditions, and then opportunities, threats, thinking into the future, what are ways to potentially improve the parks, and then what are some things that we need to keep in mind that could potentially be threats or may impede our goals here. Some common strengths, clearly the views, the sunset views, the beautiful waterfront environment are huge strength. And then close to all of the neighborhoods, in a walkable community, that's clearly a strength. And then the existing activities, the recreational activities, Port Richey residents are really embracing these parks, and everybody is really clearly passionate about the incredible park asset that you have here. Some common weaknesses: limited shade, seating, and comfort amenities, incomplete or discontinuous pedestrian connectivity, so sidewalks that just kind of end and they aren't connected. Aging and insufficient facilities. So in some parks, particularly Brasher Park, we don't have the restrooms. You know, there's opportunities here to make sure that all of these parks are enjoyable and comfortable places to visit for all users. Some common opportunities: we can expand some of the water access with kayak and paddle launches, the boardwalks and the looping paths. There's opportunities to improve those and make sure that they're all connected and that they allow folks to get really up and close and personal with the water. Enhanced civic and educational and event-oriented uses, especially around Waterfront Park. Incredible large lawn space there. I know that you host a lot of events already there, so there's opportunities to add to that, and also educationally, there's a lot of natural educational things that are happening in the park, oyster beds, and there's opportunities to incorporate that into the design so that people are aware and can be educated as they're enjoying the park. Living shoreline, so not just the gray and hard infrastructure, there's opportunities for green infrastructure, mangroves, and ways to naturally protect the shoreline from flooding and protect the water from the pollution from humans' activities. And then opportunities to integrate the city's new branding. New logo, congratulations, really exciting. I remember when working with Newport Richey, that was one of the very first steps, is their new brand, and it really kind of brings everything to life. It's an exciting time. So opportunities to incorporate the new branding into wayfinding and signage throughout the waterfront system, kind of make sure that everything has a connected sense of identity in place. So we looked at other parks as well, clearly Sims Park, Newport Richey, and the splash pad and the playground, particularly the shade structures were inspirations here, and their amphitheater, there's a small stage. Here's another photo from Sims Park. Ooh, see? Thinking about the waterfront and ways for people to comfortably enjoy the waterfront and the shade, ways to encourage wildlife to thrive as well and enjoy those parks. And then there's some shade structures in that bottom photo that were some inspiration for us. We looked at Meadows Park and Dog Park in Newport Richey. So the recent investments there, and you'll notice the connected and newer infrastructure and sidewalk systems. They have some interesting like tennis / paddleboard type activities happening here. So shared uses across the park, as well as the dog park that's nice and modern. So that was a really beautiful park. Got some happy people and happy dogs. Moving on to Lettuce Lake Park in Hillsborough County. Inspiration here was these boardwalk systems and trying to find ways to make sure that when you're walking through these natural landscapes, you're still comfortable and you're able to enjoy it. For all people of mobility types can kind of enjoy the park in a similar way. And then the St. Pete Pier, the newer investments in St. Pete Pier and their waterfront landscapes were inspirations for our concepts as well. Bayfront Park in Sarasota. So they have this sunset viewing area and just a lot of really interesting new investments in Sarasota. Sarasota's Bayfront Park. I definitely encourage a visit if you're ever in that area to check it out. It's been through a huge transformation and particularly inspired by their kayak systems throughout the park. They also have kayak launches for people of different disabilities, so they can also have handicapped access to the kayak system, which I thought was really neat, like an ADA kayak launch. And then Cascades Park in Tallahassee is it has dual purposes. It's not only a beautiful park in their downtown, but it's also a stormwater treatment facility. But it's the most beautiful stormwater treatment facility I've ever seen. It's got water features throughout the entire park that serve a purpose to clean from system to system. So it's like a camouflaged stormwater function as well as a beautiful cascading waterfront park. And then, of course, their amphitheater is clearly a hot, exciting thing to be a part of. I went to a lot of events there when I was living in Tallahassee. It's a really, really awesome, beautiful park. So common threats, flood exposure. This is a map of the flood risks in Port Richey. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. So we have to learn to live with the water, and there's ways to design our environments to make sure that they're enjoyable, but they're also resilient when we have to deal with tidal influences or coastal storms. So yeah, that's clearly one of the largest common threats. And then we identified just the size of the park. It's difficult to really fit a lot of different concepts in some of the smaller parks, but aside from waterfront's pretty large and a lot of opportunity there, there might be conflicts between the boat ramp and the facilities because just simply because of the size. So that was more specific to Nick's Park. So I'm going to pause briefly if you have any questions for me at this stage. Otherwise, I will keep going on.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay. No, you can proceed.
Okay. All right, moving on to workshop finding. So we had our workshop on November 13th, and what we did is we reviewed the initial SWOT findings. There was a discussion of park by park, all those needs, opportunities, and trade-offs. So we presented just what I had talked about there, identifications of some of the amenities and the improvements, and then we explored these different concepts and where those priorities compete among the concepts. We got a lot of feedback. I think it was well attended, 25 to 30 people, and then a lot of emails and feedback coming to us in the weeks afterwards. And I'm still encouraging folks to send us feedback. Let us know what you're thinking. We had a couple worksheets that people gave us feedback on, and then we had traditional charrette where everybody was sketching on the maps and coming up with different ideas on the spot. So that was a lot of fun. And some of those key themes that were identified is there's a lot of support for improving just the everyday usability. That means comfortable places to sit, nice shady spots, nice clean, accessible restrooms, just making everything a lot more comfortable and enjoyable as you visit the park. So some of the basics. Desire to preserve the neighborhood character, particularly in Brasher Park and Ulster Park. And then the recognition that Nick's Park is that the city's only public boat ramp. So there's a lot to pack into that. The only public boat ramp. Is it the right place for the only public boat ramp? Are there opportunities? It has this historic and cultural significance as the city's only boat ramp. So that has inherent value. But is there a way to design everything so it all fits well? These are the kinds of discussions that were had, and it's something that I'm sure we'll get into in just a little while. And then the interest in strengthening waterfront park. So it's definitely capable of supporting those day-to-day uses, but also large events. So there's a lot of interest in making sure that we turn Waterfront Park into that postcard landmark for Port Richey. Next is our park concepts. Just an overview before we jump into the model. I want to kind of explain up the process a little bit more. So we have this 4-step process. We've already passed the initial layout level of design 1, LOD 1, where we're establishing access and the circulation throughout the site and some of those core activity areas. Now we're in the phase of level detail 2. So we're refining the concepts. We're introducing amenities and we're evaluating the alternatives and discussing them as a group. After we've really decided that these are the concepts we like, they're in the right places, this is what we're moving forward with for a final site plan or concept plan, we'll move to an illustrative detailing, level of detail 3. So adding diagrams and perspectives and finalizing all of those visual elements. And then 4 is will document all of this into a nice, not too long because nobody likes to read too long documents, but highly visual document that summarizes all of this, the recommendations, so that you have this, you can attach it to an RFP, and the city is guiding and has had a hand in shaping what they want for their parks. And then you can send that out and try to get some support to then take these concepts and put pen to paper and engineering design, spec out the pricing of everything and move these concepts forward until they're finally developed, which is really exciting. So we're here to help you all kick that process off with our conceptual planning. But success for us is that you guys take these concepts and move them forward and build something. Waterfront Park, identified themes. So I discussed this already, so I won't belabor this, but usability, waterfront access, movement and connectivity, resilience and shoreline stability, park role and programming. And the vision for Waterfront Park from the workshop and all this feedback is that it's the city's primary civic waterfront, supports everyday recreation, community events, and long-term resilience as the centerpiece of the waterfront park system. Nix Park. Nix Park serves as a unique and critical role, the city's only public boat ramp, functioning as a working waterfront with regional significance. Concept strategies prioritize operational efficiency, public safety, and appropriate public access. Brasher Park. Brasher Park is envisioned as a neighborhood-scale waterfront access and passive recreation park, building on its scenic peninsula setting while responding to shared system-wide priorities related to usability, access, and resilience. And lastly, Olsener Park. It's envisioned as a refreshed neighborhood waterfront park that prioritizes comfort, accessibility, and preservation of its small-scale residential character. So each tells a different story and gives us a different sense of its vision. Each has unique assets and strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And our role now is to jump into a group discussion and get your feedback as I show you each of the conceptual plans in their draft format. And like Sal had teed us up, these are drafts and they're working documents, and they are not static images. You can move around the model in 3D and see things from all different sorts of perspectives, which is great. It makes it a really essential design tool. A lot of the times you'll work with designers and you'll give them ideas, and then they'll come back, see you in 2 months, 8 weeks, and they'll show you a static image. We're not doing that tonight. We're going to show you the actual design models and let you kind of walk with me and work on them together. So I'll pause if anybody has any questions while I bring anything up, but I'm going to, I have so many windows. Just 1 second.
Yeah, I don't think we have any questions. So whenever you're
Okay,
ready.
cool. So we talked about the order in which to discuss the parks. We're going to start with the lowest level of detail at this stage. It's more of a blank slate, and then we'll move to the other more detailed and more fleshed out concepts. But here we are in Olsener Park in our 3D model where everything is to scale, but it's pretty bare bones, and that's intentional because I want this blank slate so that we can have a discussion about what the needs and wants are that you all see from in this park. So at the end of tonight, we have some good direction as a design team and as staff, what you all are seeking in this park definitively. Do we want a playground? Do we want a new pavilion? Yes, that's the goal for Olsener Park. So I will open it up for discussion, and then I also have, you guys can't see this, huh? No, you can see it. I also have the Google Earth imagery so that we can look at what's existing now, although this is older imagery. But that'll help us also as we're kind of flying around through Olsener Park. And I have Allison who's going to take some notes. And I apologize, I'm not there in person. I had a computer malfunction, but luckily you all were able to pivot to Zoom, which is really great. But I can't tell, I might need some help from staff on kind of facilitating the discussion there on site. Because as I'm sharing the screen, it's hard to see everybody. But I will kind of turn it over and open it up to the group.
Okay, so I'll just, or Sarah, so we understand. So you want us to kind of give you some guidance on what we'd like to see in this particular park, right?
Yes, I would like to know what you'd like to see, and if there's a particularly strong feeling about where you'd like to see it, I'm going to be like designing and making changes to the model as you're discussing it.
What was brought,
I mean, personally, go ahead.
what was brought up in December from the people that were here? What did they
So-
want in this park?
They were really passionate about the beach. That was the highlight, and don't change our, don't take away the beach. That was the
Yeah,
core
that's it.
activity.
Like Nick's Park, the only boat ramp. This Ozer Park is the only beach that we have right now.
Right.
So I think we recently, within the last year and a half, 2 years, I think we refreshed that with sand. I'm not sure what shape it is in now, but and maybe Sal, you could speak to that. How's that look down there?
Public Works just recently refurbished the beach area.
Any way to extend it?
Not unless we were considering the property next door to go that way. We really can't go any further into the parking lot part of it. But the only way to extend it is if the board was to consider that property next door to go that way. One of the open concerns is that we used to have a large gazebo closer to the where the seawall kind of connects, closer to the water there. That gazebo has been taken down due to just age and just rotting and coming apart. It was becoming a safety issue. So right now, that's pretty much, besides the flagpole that's there, that's pretty much an open slate. So if you have any input on that, maybe a refurbished playground, the size of Olsner Park pretty much holds is, the size of it being a pocket park. There's really not much room to do anything, but this is why we kind of wanted to leave this open for interpretation during the public. The input, they were just more or less interested in keeping what has already been established and just basically revitalizing the parking lot itself, which we have plans for. We've talked about the fence that's going to be installed. We have talked about, the mural and stuff, but that's of course is painting and aesthetics. We're kind of looking if you guys want, if anyone wants any type of structures or anything else added to this park so we can move forward.
So how does that the sandy part that we have there? How's it hold up? Because obviously the waves and stuff coming in or whatever, it probably washes out. But I was wondering if,
as far as we set it back, the what comes as far as high tide, we set the beach part further and further back so it doesn't wash away.
it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, it
Well,
holds
I wonder if we could somehow continue that on back, that sand area, and maybe integrate the playground into the beach, if you will. Because obviously it would hold up because it's all further enough back from the water. That would stay pretty nice sand, and you accommodate more people. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go any wider, but you could definitely go deeper.
Yeah, you
And
can
then-
go deeper.
And if there's specific type of playground equipment, if you will, that would lend itself to sand, that might be a good option for that area.
I mean, do we know about the lot next door and what the numbers are on that?
The city hasn't been given direction to do that. I believe currently, I think it's listed between 450 to 500,000. But we'd have to, if the board wanted us to go forward, we can look into more specifics on that piece of property.
I don't think it would hurt to just see what they're asking for it.
There isn't any of those Pasco grants or anything available for that lot to keep it a municipal lot instead of a residential.
That's something we can also explore and see if there's funds available.
Yeah, I was thinking more on the lines of what we just dealt with on the other side of the bayou there. If that same type of program was available for us on this lot here, it might get the owner what they want. And the land swap, through the county might be something that we could, utilize to double the size of our lot, and its footprint. So nothing like making a park bigger. That makes everybody happy and gives us additional space there as well. Kind of changes the whole thing if you take on that other lot there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd have twice the size, about, so that beach could be expanded.
And the pool's still there.
Okay. How about the playground? I mean, based off of the feedback from the workshop, folks are really enjoying the activity. Sal mentioned we would like to replace what was previously there, no longer, this new pavilion. So something that's nice and comfortable and easy access to enjoy the water along the south tip of this peninsula here. And then improved playground facilities is the next thing that we'll add to this model. It's a really small playground. There's a lot of nice shade trees here, so we could bring the beach up a bit, but up to where basically the trees are, so that we're not affecting too many of these trees. Maybe up to here or so. I don't think this is here anymore. And then the last thing that we had talked about is parking can be a little bit of a challenge, having to turn around a little awkwardly back here. Some folks don't love that turnaround, a bit narrow. So I was going to look at, instead of the angled parking, like straight parking, to see if that makes it a little bit easier. And if there was any other ways to adapt the parking to make that just a little bit of an easier turnaround.
You know, I always liked the gazebo that was there. That was a nice place for that. I thought that fit well within that park. It's obviously people want to go out and sit close to the water and have some kind of covered seating there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a gazebo is the right idea. What are your thoughts on
something
something
similar to
else?
that. I mean, I always liked that covered gazebo. They have a nice look to them, but obviously you could make something different as well.
I was thinking of something a little bit of a, put up some metal poles with some shading with some, heavy duty, almost like a, UV resistant vinyl on it, with some cables like they do at the car washes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could put some seating underneath that, some good weatherproof seating. And you wouldn't be into, something round, something a little bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, people like to fish off there too. So it would, if you could integrate to where they have some ways to have some covered seating and some fishing.
Daryl mentioned, and Daryl, our utility director, mentioned about like the same type of structure, like a pole barn type of structure with an angled covering, concrete slab, several, maybe 3 to 4 picnic tables set up there. That way they're covered and stuff, and pretty much serve as a multi-purpose type of area. In that way, if people fishing or they wanted to have just a small gathering, things like that, or birthday. Could pretty much serve multi-purpose.
I like it. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, like I said, I would probably get away from round the way it was before. If you do something more rectangular, you get more space utilized.
I guess something
rectangular or even triangular. What are your thoughts? Maybe just as far as something that was, it would just give you a good dynamic look from the other side.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you hit, or even with trapezoidal or whatever, but as long as you maximize the waterfront space there to where people can get up against a rail or whatever, fish, sit, and watch stuff going on in the water. Have whatever best seating area to maximize that space.
Right. And get them some shade to get out of the sun. So if they're having a little get together, they don't have to get smoked in the sun. They can have a little shade.
Of course, they probably enjoy a little sun last couple of days, but
well, yeah, but give it a few months from now, we're going to be like
for sure, definitely some shade.
What kind of trees do we have in that park right now?
Oh.
Are they coverage? Shade coverage?
Hold on.
Sarah, did you say you had a Google overview of what we have?
Can you see this when I switch to Google?
Yeah, I can see it. Yes, Sarah.
I see the 3D warehouse.
Oh, you do? Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to switch so you can see all of my whole window. Can you see this?
It's coming. Yeah.
Okay, we've got lots of really tall palms, some oak.
But the sand could go back beyond those palms.
But actually, the sand could go
All the way up.
all through the palms. That's
Right.
when you go down to like Howard Park. That's a really nice beach, and all the trees, palm trees, are integrated into the sand. It's hammocks strung between them, and I mean it's.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think if you expanded that sand all the way back through there, it'd be a really nice area.
And then created some kind of a berm at the parking lot to keep the parking lot out of the
Yeah.
sand and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. We can
Because
do
when I go to the
that.
beach, I like to sit under a tree myself. I don't care much about the sun beating down on me. But I'm weird. So
So all the way back to possibly over here. And then the playground, do we like the playground being right where the beach is going to be? Would we like to see the playground maybe moved? It looked like in that Google Earth there was 2 playground sites at one point. Don't think that this one's still there. Oops.
I don't know that you want to have mulch in your playground. That's kind of like, number one, it's sore on your feet. What about sand in the playground? Why not make the whole thing sand?
yeah, that's what I was suggesting. It's the playground equipment
You can
it's be in the same.
Go out and rake the sand up, make it pretty, and just,
But if you make the playground on the other side and make that everything from the bathroom back sand and then the playground up there, because what else are you gonna put there?
So a concept to move playground north,
That's a good
or
idea.
potentially a concept to just maybe an integrated with the beach kind of playground.
yeah, but either one's too good, yeah.
Sand gets hot. Rubberized mulch is easy for maintenance, I think, is why they use it a lot.
White sand doesn't get hot. That you get down to some of those beaches down there. What's it called? What's that white beach down the best beach in the world or whatever it's called?
Siesta Key?
Yeah, Siesta Key. They've got white sand and it can be 105 and that sand's cool.
Yeah, with a tree cover all through there, it's going to stay relatively cool.
I would say playground to the other side, and then that area can be utilized for a lot more things.
The only problem with the playground on the other side, Lisa, is you can't see your kids and it's over by the entrance.
Yeah, you can.
So if I had
put
kids
you
playing,
put a bench over there. And
What's that?
You have to sit there and watch them on that bench.
Well, I mean, if I go to the beach, I got half the kids up at the beach and the other half at the playground. I can't quite see both kids on both sides there. That's all I'm thinking.
Well, you better get better control of your kids.
Yeah, longer tethers.
All my kids are grown. I'm thankful now they got to watch their kids.
How about the signage when you first come into the park? Do we like that? Let me show you what it looks like. And I know the fencing was a big topic last meeting. I listened to that, so I've got the latest there. But this is the entrance. Is there anything that you'd like to see in terms of improvements to the entrance?
Entirely
Well, we've got
entrance, like
Yeah, save nothing.
start over.
It looks like a prison yard.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, we're moving forward on the black wrought iron fence around there.
Yeah, we got a beautiful
The new
black
sign,
fence.
more landscaping. It needs to be really
It
changed.
needs to pop.
Yeah.
Nicer,
This
inviting.
sign back here.
And I wonder if the sign would be better on the other side in that area, kind of make that the sign area. And then you can do some nice landscaping there on the
Probably a good idea.
front of the park,
Eric,
and you can see in the park a little bit better.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then across the street, I know there's something new and
Yeah, that's
exciting
ours too.
coming.
We were looking at doing a community type garden there. Was the last thought.
Neat. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So maybe oh wow, look, you can see the old house.
Can we do parking over there?
Yeah, you could possibly do
Can we
parking.
do
over there.
parking?
I think the deed restriction limits what you can do there. And no structures. I don't know if it's through the flood mitigation.
Yeah, but you could use
grant.
it for parking. I'm almost positive.
I'll have to see what the restrictions were, or the deed restrictions when the county gave it to us.
What's a structure? Could you do like awnings and tables over there too?
I think you potentially can.
Yeah,
I'll have to read the
like
You
restroom
can do
facilities
that
or
for parties and
Yeah, I'll have to read so it's the flood mitigation assistance grant that does this. I'll have to read that language again.
Derek, what are your thoughts about the property next door?
Not the first time I heard it. I've seen it online going for about 500,000. We have to figure out what to do with the pool. So that's something to figure out. It would take care of our wall issue as well. And we have money in the budget for land acquisition.
I mean, I think you demo the pool. We don't need the liability of a pool, so you demo the pool, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard ideas that you put pickleball courts out there, green space. I mean, you open up a lot of possibilities to get that.
If there's water there already, water lines, could you do a splash pad there? A small one?
Just have to check with the building code.
Was the home that had been there, was it damaged in a storm? Was it substantial damage home?
I'm not sure on that one. I have to check with.
It just
Well,
seems to me, if it was,
probably,
it seems to me
Christine.
like there could be some money at Pasco that would pay for that.
Well, if we're looking at, we probably need to figure out that soon because we don't want to obviously paint the wall and tear it down either.
Right,
So,
yeah. And then if so, and that we extended the beach along there, then the property across the street could possibly be parking
Parking. Yeah,
for,
exactly.
for a much larger park, a much larger beach.
And the community garden
Mhm.
concept over here.
Well, I mean, we might not have a community garden at that location if we needed it for parking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could obviously
I mean,
look at that, but
yeah.
then there's another side of that too. That's a good potential waterfront home site too that would bring revenue into the city as well. We do have other parks that we can invest in. So
It's our only beach.
It's our only beach, and
Yeah.
it could be a bigger beach.
It could be a
And
much
quite
bigger
frankly, I think it would make a better park than it would one home site. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't make a good home site, but I'm just saying, what a great opportunity to enlarge our one waterfront kind of beachy park,
Mhm.
you know?
no, I don't disagree.
And over time, I mean, not wishing any harm on any of those homes, but over time, if more more lots become available, that could become a real beach area for the city over years and years.
Think about this, Christina. Moving the parking across the street opens up the whole place to a different dynamic.
I know. Yeah, that's
And it's right across the street, and it's a very low traveled street. It's not, you could put, crossing signs and slow down, all that stuff on there, but you could just use the street across for some seating plus, some parking.
right.
And then you could really do something nice over there,
Yeah. I definitely see it as better use for a park, for extending the park than for additional revenue to the city for a home. That's quite an opportunity right there.
So I'm hearing two big concepts coming through is we'll continue to improve the park as its current layout, looking at the tip with something more inviting for fishing and shade, seating, thinking about expanding the beach all the way through the palms, thinking about looking at a playground here or here. And then I'll look at the parking to see if there's a better way to angled or not angled. That's one concept, is just improving what's there. And then the second would be expansion into this side property and moving all the uses over the beach. You could have a bigger restroom if you wanted, but I think that's probably satisfying the need.
So
You have a community garden over here and then use this for parking.
if we find out that the lot across the street can be geo-webbed parking, and still maintain that natural green space and just make it a geo-web parking lot, do you want her to go forward and eliminate everything that's asphalt in Olsner? Because if we're gonna make that lot across the street,
I would say yes.
that, you know what I'm saying, and then that way you have more green space to do more tables, more.
Yeah, I think that's
Cars out of that side.
Just take them out completely, right?
Take cars out of that side completely and make it very safe.
Exactly. Make it
Area
safe for kids and
like a
everybody.
pavilion
Exactly.
over there too.
and so I've got public in here who want to make some comments too. So if we could, once we get, I want to let them know, obviously, as soon as we get done talking about this specific park, I'm going to open up public comment on this park before we move on. So once we get to that point, I'll open up public comment. But yeah, if we're really thinking about expanding that or whatever, obviously there's a lot of stuff in play. We need to move things, and that I think we need to kind of explore that before we really plan too much into this particular park until we figure out
I do have a
the
question,
footprint.
because when I asked him about the parking, and he says maybe, but that's a lot between two houses, correct?
Uh-huh.
So is there anything in our code, something where that would be a problem, that we now have a parking lot between two houses? Is there anything that we need to look at before?
Before we start any of these projects, we have to rezone them anyway. They're all of our parks are either Res 2 or commercial for whatever reason. They should be really like open space on a use, so we're working on that as well.
And one thing you could also do with all this extra space is make sure that you have enough of a buffer between the property. If we're taking out this parking lot, you could have a nice like landscape buffer.
Yeah, I just want to know if there's anything specific to not have a parking lot between the two houses on the other side with that lot.
I have the deed
I
restriction
don't know.
here, and it spells out what you can erect as an improvement, and it says a public facility that is open on all sides and functionally related to a designated open space or recreation use, a public restroom, or a structure that is compatible with open space and conserves the natural function of the floodplain, including the uses described in another paragraph above and approved by a FEMA administrator in writing before construction of the structure begins.
Now, what I do have on the property also is I've got the property location bought up here. It is for sale. They do have a listing price on it for right now. I mean, it's actively on the market.
Go paying for that though to avoid it ever becoming another residential lot, because I know there was that program they came and talked to us about.
The property owner has to ask them for that, but that is available.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
Yeah,
But the homeowner would have to apply that.
explore whatever. Yeah, whatever we can do to get Pasco to pay.
Ask them if they know about it,
Mhm.
see if it's something they're interested in.
Right. I'd like to get it for nothing.
Derek, is that something you can look
$10.
into for us?
What's that?
I asked Derek, is that something he can look into for us to figure out if we can get Pasco to get it and gift it to us somehow?
I'll look and see what they did with the one across the street.
That's what I was thinking.
I think they-
Well, is it the one across the street or is it the one across the bayou?
So the one across the street was done the same way, where Pasco County paid for the demolition, and then once that was completed, there's like an automatic clause that allows the city to take ownership of it. That's how they did it. I'll see which program. I think it's the flood mitigation assistance. I'll just double
Yeah,
check.
but keep in mind, Chris, that's a homeowner initiated act. They apply for the grant and they basically put it in that position. It's not something Pasco comes in and just takes. The homeowner, because they want to sell their lot, they may not want to sell it to Pasco. So it's really initiated by that homeowner.
And maybe that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
I would want to, if that were my property and I could get paid for it via Pasco to extend the park, that I would definitely want to do that versus seeing another house go up on
Yeah,
it.
I think they
So-
probably don't pay as much as they would on open market, I think is what the decision point is. But
Just additional on this covenant does allow for unimproved, unpaid parking lots.
If Pasco doesn't pay as much, we could maybe pick up the difference to purchase the property, like if some kind of, in our negotiations with the homeowner or our discussions with the homeowner, that if they're not liking the idea of getting less for the property, then find out through Pasco if the city could pay some money along with that to get them where they need to be. So, there's
Yeah.
rather pay something.
mm-hmm. No, I think worth an ask.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
Excellent. I'll
Sarah,
let you,
are we okay to have a little public comment? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, public comment?
I have no voice, so don't make fun of me. Linda Rodriguez, 5917 Lantern Court. As you know, I'm working on the wall at Ulsner, and I went over there. The lot is 0.34 acres, $499, and it's been on the market for over 300 days. So there's probably some negotiation there, because I was going to bring it up. Our CAC meeting is Thursday. So I was going to bring that up. That's why I kind of know about that. So that would be a really good, and you were talking about windsurfing. That's a great park for passive paddleboard, kayaking, windsurfing, no motorized thing. That would be a great place for that. So I was going to bring it up Thursday, but you brought it up tonight. But I would think after 333 or 4 days on the market, they might
Maybe motivated. Any other comments on Brasher Park? Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
All right.
So maybe we pause and move on to another park, and we'll come circle back to this.
Sure.
But
Okay,
I think
moving
it's
on.
good ideas of what we possibly could do there.
I got a lot of
Yeah.
little arrows and stuff. Okay, perfect. Saving this one, and let's move on to the next highest level of detail. We're moving to the Brasher or Nick's? Dallas, I apologize. Or sorry, yeah, you want to do Nick's Park next?
Up to you.
Either one is fine.
Okay. Nick's Park. So this one has some more sketching and concept development happening in comparison to the last one, but it's still a draft. Right now you see mainly the existing site plan, so we can get a sense of the scale and see what might fit. But I've got the existing site plan as a base to start, and then I've been exploring other options for the boat slips, and then in thinking about scale, this isn't my model, so I can't credit that to me, but this is a publicly available model that I just stuck in here to get a sense of scale and size. And when you think about opportunities for changing the parking and the circulation around, you really open up a lot of space for more of a waterfront activity center. So I included that model. But again, this is not what it would look like. This is just something I plopped right on top to give you a sense of scale. One thing that I did change intentionally was the entrance. So instead of it being a loop completely around, imagine this is actually green, but you just have a smaller loop with some regular parking, some boat trailer parking, and then you can make a right turn. The boats can to try to turn around over here and park the boat or bring your boat in and then go park the trailer. And then you see the multiple slips. So we're starting to see some concepts come to life here, but clearly this is still very draft and it's just here for discussion. So I will turn it back over to the group for ideas.
I would think people already complain there's not enough parking for their vehicles and trailers. So I would say that knock that totally out because you just wiped out almost all the parking.
Yep, I cut the parking in half essentially for the trailers. And then there's also the option of no boat ramp, but I don't think that that's necessarily an option. Obviously, city needs a boat ramp, but there might be opportunity sites elsewhere that could serve the city better. But I was outside of my purview for this, but I agree that it's got to be solved, this parking problem.
Yeah, so
Elsewhere.
So we've had some preliminary conversations about alternatives, and so the challenge is this as a boat ramp being in the heart of the commercial district that's developing, right? And all that property being for sale down there, and how we're going to invest and what we're going to do with it. Do we want to focus on a boat ramp and make that the main focus of that area, or do we try to find an alternative location for that? And we're, conversation's very early. I know there's a couple of options that we were looking at, just very preliminarily. And Pasco is putting a boat ramp in across the river. So if we could find an alternative location that this would operate until we could get something up and running somewhere else in the city, then we could possibly revision that park as more of a center place for people to gather and enjoy the water and other things. But again, it's a tough resource to try to deal with where it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there a reason we couldn't put it at Waterfront Park? I remember at one point, something with the FCT, we couldn't have a ramp
The
there.
parking would be the problem.
Well, parking.
There was an update. Someone updated your restrictions to Waterfront Park on October 31st of 2024. And it reads, correction to conservation easement granted by John R. Gray, adding language to ensure no water-dependent structures are placed on the property or adjacent submerged lands, including marina easement parcels. So it was the language to specify that that was a prohibited use.
Okay, yeah.
And there's also an opportunity out, I think, Bob, you were mentioning about the
Yeah, and it would be better anyway. That way you can leave the park open for festivals.
and we did talk a little bit about Brasher, and if we're able to ever get that dredge through there, potentially there as well. It's just we don't have a whole lot of options, so we're trying to wrestle with what we do.
Brasher would be a parking problem too that way.
Yeah, you
Well,
don't
so
have-
Brasher has the same footprint as Nick's Park actually, so it would be the same amount of parking, but you had the overflow, which we use occasionally, and you would have to, if we were able to expand that, or if they park somewhere down the street. But also, if we were to utilize that for smaller craft, and then deal with the larger craft elsewhere, you just parcel it out. Again, there's no slam dunk solution anywhere really,
Can we
even where it's at.
Can we pause this park discussion until we look into the ebb tide land? Because I certainly wouldn't want to take away a boat ramp
No,
unless we had one in the
Yeah,
works.
I think that's
to where by the time this one was gone, we already had another one built.
I think we exhausted all our
Would be
possibilities
better.
of where we could possibly move it. If we can't move it, we invest in it. That's
Right,
kind of-
but then we have to.
I'm
we
in,
have to keep it.
I'm in agreement on that for sure.
Yeah. If we can find a good suitable location makes sense, then we look into it. If not, we invest in what we got.
We do have limited time with the regional planning council, what their scope of work is. Also, too, we would have to reassign any monies that we assigned in the CRA fund to other projects if it's going to take up until next fiscal year to figure this out. Or we could do, a refresh. So not changing it overhauling, but refresh it.
Maybe some landscaping or something for now, and some paving. Work on the boat dock or the boat ramp. Like, I don't think it would cost too much, would it, just to correct the problem with what's going on with the boat ramp as it sits?
Yeah, there could be some investment for sure.
Yeah, and then, just kind of make it a placeholder at the moment.
Keep
till
the
we
lights
figure
on
out-
type
yeah,
of work,
Yeah, keep the lights on, make it look a little nicer without putting a whole lot of money into it. And start
There's a
doing the
nice
homework.
seating area there right now, and without going too much into all of it, if the boat ramp wasn't there, what would you want there? What would you
Docks.
want? That space is not real big.
Well, kind of wish you had designed there would be kind of
We
nice.
do have a nice space there. We also have a place where our police boat is, where our fire department can drop their boat in quick because they just got to shoot across Grand.
I have it in my diagram, yeah. The floating dock for the
So-
emergency boat.
Our safety forces need that area, and they don't need it to be clearing another part of the city. Do you want them to run from Grand or from Ridge Road and go out to Ebb Tide to put the boat in?
Well, so their boats stays on a lift there, I guess is my,
Fire doesn't.
yeah. Well, that'd mean wouldn't in the future.
And still, even if it is on a lift there, it's still that much further. I'm just saying it's something else to think
Yeah.
about.
You shouldn't
What do
really,
you really want to do with that space? Because what it's being used for now is something that a lot of people use as a boat ramp. And secondly, we have our first responders going out of there on a fairly regular basis. So what do you want to put there that's more important?
It's not so much that
I know.
want to put anything particular there. It's always going to be a park for the city, right? And so if it wasn't a boat ramp, it would be a park, and it could be a focal point like you would have down in Mallory Square where you go to watch sunsets and have stuff like that. You would have public dockage there. I think we would definitely continue to have that, and obviously we would have our staff boats there to deploy quickly. again, there's going to be a ramp directly across the river that people could put in at some point in the future. But again, we want to keep the resource somewhere in the city. And again, if we can't find a spot for it, it's going to be here. It's where it's at now. But as that area develops, it's tough to have all that boat and trailer traffic constantly going down right into the center of the waterfront to launch boats on. It's tough.
I agree to a point.
Yeah.
On it could be better, but it's not that big, and you can't take it out. And where are we going to put it? And it is important. And it's important to think of a few other things. Like I said, our fire and our police are putting their boats in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You have to think about that.
Yeah.
the docks that I drew up, I had thought about that, whether you have a boat ramp there or not. The docks that I put there, if you have the ramp, you could utilize, obviously, but the docks that drew up on both sides make it a 2-lane ramp. If we eliminated that ramp and put it off Ebtide or someplace else,
We can still
then
have
that boat ramp would be used for either a party fishing boat or for a floating RV. You could charge someone to dock there, but the boat docks would be there I got designed for about 20 boats, and you'd have a park there also that they could use. Either whether it's a
Well,
boat
that's
ramp
an
or
answer.
not,
Yeah.
the docks could be utilized one way or the other. What you need to do though is the lift is no good for a rescue boat or a police boat. It should be on there. Everywhere I go, they're on floating docks, dock blocks they call them, and they're rapid deploy. You can put one on the river, or you can put one right here in the corner. There's a corner space. That's why I have it designed so you could put the rescue boat in there, quick access, and put a light water there, and they're all set. That's all you need. But that could be. It's supposed to remain
That's
a
an
park.
answer.
Even if you eliminate the boat ramp, it needs to be a park. But you could have a harbor master in there if you put in more docks. If you go down the line, depending on what the developer wants to do behind Hooters and all the way down, you could have a harbor master there to collect. If you want to charge $5 for people, help them dock there, collect $5. You could get tips. Just a little harbor master. But in a park like this would be nice. But it needs to remain a park according to the FTC. But as long as it's accessible to boaters, I think that's an important thing because that's really what it'd be utilized for the best. Access for boaters.
Yeah. And if we like I
Whether
said,
you eliminate the boat ramp or not, the docks would be suited there.
yeah, and like I said, we need to envision having that water walkway going all the way around the water, and it would just continue along there.
And that would be perfect. Point for that to start that park going one way or the other, where you go to waterfront or if you go all the way across to the bridge.
But until you solve for a boat ramp somewhere else, it's kind of a non-starter because we have
Right.
to.
That's why I didn't want to go too far into it
Yeah.
because
I just think we look to see if there's any opportunities anywhere else. If we can't find anything, then because we've got to pull the trigger at some point to invest in this.
Either
asset.
way, that dock that's there needs to be removed and that needs to be dredged. Either way, if you use it to continue as a boat ramp or if you want to put docks, the city docks there. So when we dredge, they need to come over to that seawall and dredge all that out so we can utilize that water
Agree.
area.
I agree with that. Okay. Scrap this park. Let's move on.
I think the good news is the other two parks should be a little easier.
How long is it going to take to find out about ebb tide and the availability of that, or whether or not?
I think Don, you're working on it now, aren't you? We actually mentioned it to the county. County's supposed to get back with us on
So
some
we're
stuff
thinking
because county owns that
month,
property.
2 months, 3 months. Is it 6?
Last week.
Could be 2 weeks.
Could
So-
be 2 weeks. Okay.
And I still
I don't know how. I'm not complaining. I'm just asking, like, how long does?
He didn't give us a
Kinda
he didn't give us
I
a
think
drop
we can
dead
get
date.
we can
He
figure.
just owes us the information.
I think we can get some direction pretty quick. I think.
And I still got some work to do. That's still work that has to be done.
So
Yep.
could we direct the Tampa Bay Regional Council to just do a glam it up a little bit for now, just a refresh?
Yeah, I don't think you would. Like I said, she showed some other designs there, but obviously it takes away parking. We need to. I think it's the parking's probably maximized the way it is. So whatever the footprint is now, we just kind of need to dress it up.
Right.
Well, maybe a little bit of sod or something, but
Yeah, but
Yeah,
as far
but
as
like-
layout, it's about as
there's not much you can do. I mean, we don't know what we're going to do with it yet, so why spend money on it?
There was mention of putting some shade structure here on these, what ends up being a hot seat to deal with that. Maybe redoing the bollards to a design a better design.
Yeah,
refreshing the inside of the restroom.
those things probably wouldn't change regardless. So
Yeah, you're not talking about major changes, just refreshing, maybe doing the restroom, refreshing the restroom, landscape, the boardwalk down to the dock definitely needs a refresh. Maybe add some bumpers, things like that. That could be your base refresh until you figure out what you want to do with it.
and keep in mind too, is we got 4 parks here. As we come to these things, we can't do everything, so we got to prioritize. And so obviously these things could possibly take a little bit of a back burner.
Yeah,
depending on what the other-
so the purpose after this, we're going to go out to design and engineering and hopefully get some estimated construction costs. And then we're going to talk about how we prioritize based on what we have.
Right.
So just to kind of sum it up, I wasn't sure if there was more public comment.
Yeah, so I was going to open up public comments. So I think we're council done on the Nick's Park. Any public comment on Nick's Park? Okay, we have none.
Okay, so I'm really dying to fix this hot seat right here. I don't think that's the most comfortable place in the summertime.
We can put a Sarah Vitale nameplate on that if you'd like.
So I will do a nice glam up of the park, but keep the existing parking, keep the circulation. But like I've gotten your comments now, and I will glam it up and kind of give it some nice fine upgrades until city knows what they want to do. So that'll be a part of this project. Okay, got those notes. I'm going to save them, and we'll move on to Rasher Park. Okay, Rasher Park. This is the coolest park. I mean, Waterfront's pretty cool too, but this one is amazing. I think it's such an incredible opportunity. Before, I got a couple different concepts to show you. I'll start with, this was my initial concept a couple months ago, hand sketching. So it's a little rough, but the ideas were adding a dock pier, fishing pier off the north end of it, adding a loop around the entire thing to be able to walk around the park. This was supposed to be a splash pad type thing. Here's the restroom facility. We would reconstruct it where it used to be. Then a playground and more shade structures, and then orienting most of the kayak activity, because I know that's the predominant recreational use. Having that have its own dedicated area for people to park their kayaks while they're out here hanging out, instead of just jumping on the kayak and going out and then just leaving immediately. They might want to hang out here so they can keep their kayaks docked, and then having nice like newer kayak launch area, and then this side being more of a beach. There was discussion of that during the workshop, having another beachy area along this side, and then this is, I think we've scrapped this, but the idea being similar to the Lettuce Lake concept in the pictures I showed earlier, being able to walk through on a boardwalk all the way through and above even the mangroves to a platform that would have a structure to hang out and watch the sunset, and that structure would be inspired by the stilt houses that you can see along the coastline from Rasher Park.
Did you say you think you scrapped that? Did you say Did you say you think that was scrapped?
The not that concept, but the actual location of the boardwalk. So I'll move down to the second version of this. Now we're looking a little more detailed, but it includes what I had sketched, which is just like a boardwalk that you have enough space here to even move parking up on the site. So incorporating a boardwalk that takes you all the way from the eastern side of the site all the way down past the site. There's a little spot to hang out, and then you turn right. And this was the staff and I actually walked out there during low tide and stood right here, and it's the most amazing views. So we thought, let's try to put it right here. But of course, that could also go anywhere, law permitting. But we just kind of placed the landing spot here, and then we'd have that stilt house structure here, and this would be the this would be a really big deal for the city. I could see this being their Mallory Square, right? And then I don't have anything else for the other parts of the site aside from Sal sent me this photo of the restroom facility being more of the style, more resilient. I can't remember exactly where this picture comes from, but that would be the inspiration for that structure, and it would probably sit somewhere around here, and then having a kayak area over here.
Is that an ADA? How do you make that ADA compliant?
Elevator, or it has to be a ramp all around. That was one of the things with the elevator structure that.
I got some pictures.
And the worst part of Brasher Park are those mangroves at the end. That's the worst part of Brasher Park, and there's nothing we can do about it because it protects it. So I like the boardwalk going out and around it because you really have about 6 feet. You have about 6 feet to look out.
Yeah, I love the boardwalk.
Can you share my
And if
screen?
it's low tide, you can go out a little bit, but yeah, that's the worst part.
Oh, there it is.
You know, we had talked about trimming those mangroves. You don't have to tear them down, but you trim them back a little bit, you know, here and a little bit there to get them back to a manageable level where you can see.
Isn't it like 6 feet? And you still can't see over 6 feet. So
No, you can see over 6 feet. I've got 6 feet at my house and you can see over it. Sure.
well, yeah, because you're up in the air, but when you're at ground level, it's a little hard to see it over
It's
6
up there
feet.
about 6 or 7 feet now. There.
That's the worst part of Brasher Park, but it protects it. So, but it would be nice to have something that went out around.
You just can't let the mangroves take root outside the the walkway.
Well, if you don't do
Cover it up
anything with the
again.
mangroves, they will take over eventually.
They would, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got to trim back, and we haven't trimmed it back. This one thing we've been lacking on as a city is keeping our mangroves trimmed back.
Agreed.
I did recon, and there was some. This is pretty simple. Storm-proof, fireproof, maintenance-free. You just put this where the slabs are already, and they have either metal roof to match. If we wanted to do a replica stilt house, it would match that. But they also have thatch roofs that is actually PVC, fireproof. I've seen a lot of these in Mexico. They have vinyl. Vinyl doesn't look as good, and it doesn't hold up as well. But the PVC, they said, storms don't hurt it. 200-mile-an-hour winds are fireproof. They're reasonable, and they're like 70-mile-an-hour, 70-year-old roofs. You can put on, forget about it. And they were quite frequent in Mexico, and hurricanes don't affect them. And they're pretty popular. Looks just like a thatch roof. That's plastic synthetic PVC, and they come in different styles.
I like that.
And it's simple. And you could make it uniform across the city if you want, but 4 poles and a roof, and it serves all the purposes. And I've seen them all over the state. Simple bathroom, and this is a platform. You pretend that's like the stilt house up there, and they do have an ADA walkway. If you want to do that, it doesn't need to be very long because the park's obviously not that big. But this is one of the.
They did some of those
Usually have
type
users.
things at Crump's Landing, don't they? Have you been up there to Crump's Landing? They had several things.
Yeah, and they're very popular because they're maintenance free and they're very inexpensive, and they serve a purpose. It's for like you have bicycles, you can lock them up there if you want. This particular park is actually 492 miles from Jacksonville and 30 miles north of Key West. But that's an ADA walkway. Like I said, it's a short one up to a stilt home or a platform, and that would be similarly to a boardwalk, something low maintenance.
I love that. The railing being rope, that would be inexpensive.
Yeah, that's also a 100-year rope, the material they use,
Mm-hmm.
and they have these
I'd like
caps
to
on it.
Inexpensive. It's coastal looking.
Sarah, you got something to add?
I was going to say, I'd love to see some photos of what you're all talking about. If you could send me some.
Oh, you can't see?
No.
Oh, I thought he was sharing on the Zoom.
Wait, which ones were you talking about that you love?
Go back to that the railing with the. Can you see that?
Where?
You have to click on Bob Hubbard, I believe, to look at it.
I mean, I think we need to be careful with wood. Wood in 10 years is done. You're like having to redo the whole thing.
Well, the decking, yeah, you can use different kinds of synthetic that holds up a lot better, obviously. The railings too. I mean, all that can be synthetic. But that's why I like the PVC thatch roof. Hurricane proof, fireproof, maintenance free, hurricane proof. So you can put on, it would hold up better than anything out on Brusher Park.
What about raised aluminum
That's
panels?
underneath.
Nice.
What did you say, Chris?
Raised what?
What about raised aluminum panels? Like, you know,
Yeah, that would
yeah,
be
that
nice
stuff
if-
is,
if
that
you
stuff
had-
is really, it's bulletproof. It's really hard. And if it's aluminum, it's going to hold up on the water there.
Yeah, they're not quite as hot as the metal roof either. If you had like a aluminum roof on the still home, that would be nice to match that out at Brusher Park.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But this is wood, but a lot of them are, like she pointed out, is synthetic boardwalk. And they last 40 years. They do cost a little bit more, but that's the best value,
They
I
got
think.
Hollywood stuff.
They have different ones. Trex is popular.
So, Sarah, for the most part, I think if you want to go back to your design, I think what Bob was just showing was the type of materials to use for those things. And you, in your first diagram, you actually had walkways kind of going out through there. It's kind of what he's showing here. That would be ADA compliant. You could, they could roll up and be elevated on some kind of platform out there, like you kind of had envisioned. But I think the roofing and the structure is more Tahitian, if you would. The thatch, and as
Okay,
opposed to more modern.
got it. Can you all see what I'm sharing on my screen now?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, stop sharing,
That's why
Bob,
I
so
was,
she can go back.
I was
Okay.
confused.
We're back to you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I couldn't see what you all were talking about, but I did take some notes. But if you have any photos you could share with me later, that would be awesome. I got some aluminum roof and synthetic instead of wood. What about the blank canvas of the rest of the park? I know that it used to have a playground. It used to have the restroom building. And I added a tiny, another one of these boardwalks off the north end, but that could be smaller probably.
I mean,
yeah,
definitely
and
some
something-
shade. Yeah, definitely, Sarah, some shade. It's going to be hot, and you need to have some, maybe some kind of a shade that we talked about over there in the other park. Some kind of a triangular, vinyl PVC, something like they have at the car washes on some metal poles that's, holds up in storms, but it's permanent, stays where it's at. Just creating shade opportunities without taking away the view of the beautiful view there.
Absolutely. What about a playground? Is that still a priority for this park? Do we want to restore a playground or have it be more of a sunset passive park?
What about like a volleyball net or something? Sand in a volleyball net? Do you think
Volleyball would be cool. You could
Yeah.
have people come out. They'd come out to play volleyball. You could have.
right?
We could have the Port Richey volleyball team.
Right.
I will say that park in the mornings and the evenings, you can't hardly stand out there without getting eaten alive. So anything outside of midday activity,
Black bugs.
yes, the no-sins are horrendous.
Life in Florida.
Yeah. So I mean, to put playground stuff like that, you have to think about that. They're really going to use it in the heat of the day.
I was thinking, well, it'll be geared towards a sunset type of park with the.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went down there to watch the sunset and can't even get out of my car.
Really,
Look at that. We
It
got
could be
one
bad
already.
sometimes, yeah.
Volleyball.
Sounds like we need to call the skeeter control.
Yes,
Right. We lost the net that we had over at Gildog, so I don't know if people would want that or not, but it's something to think about. It looks fun.
If they knew.
I mean, volleyball in the sand is really fun. You got to have
Yeah.
a sand bottom on it. And, yeah.
The guys or park guys that have to set that net up every day though, or I guess you could have it on request maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the most important use that's happening now that people do is the kayaking and the that kind of
Yep.
giant boat launches and stuff like that. It's heavily used for that.
It doesn't need to be complicated. It's a small park.
And even with that just being a volleyball net, kids could use it like a sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
You could have maybe some water out there, some kind of flowing water that they could fill their buckets up with water and make sand castles or something in it.
So I'll share some really neat site plans that I received from Alan Eliason. I hope I'm saying his name right, from Our Tech Design. And he shared this poster board with me, and I have it hanging in my office, of his site plan. So I wanted to make sure you all saw it. I think it's pretty cool. He's got the parking set up a little differently. Similarly, a long walkway, and then going out to a new 100-foot dock. He's got this structure that I'll show you in a second, the section plan, but it's over on this side of the site instead of where I put one over here. He does have, it looks like a little boardwalk, so similarly thinking about access to the water on that side. Kept the playground, ADA restroom, dry, flood proofed. That's what this says over here, and then a little bit of ADA parking. And then if you want to, we're moving over here to look at the structure. So it's this style of architecture, and it's up high, so you get that view. Versus I was going to put something like this at the tip of the pier, more of a stilt house style. He's got a structure that gives you the observation point view, but it's on the mainland.
Yeah, that was the one I talked to him at that workshop, and it was an elevator in there. It's complicated.
I do like the walkway all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I had one other different program, but wanted to show you.
I like that look that you did there, Sarah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like that too.
It's great.
I like that look a lot. It's very clean. It gives you a boardwalk, gives you a lot of covered space, gives us the ability to kind of do other stuff there, including the bathroom. Plus, it gets people out there. You're missing the piece where it shows the fishermen going on the other side there. It used to be there. It's not there right now for that piece.
I don't know if you can get rid of those mangroves there, though.
I like the ADA kayak launch thing too, because it makes it easy when you got a heavy gun, heavy kayak and you're old.
Yeah, lots of shade, lots of metal roofing, lots of seating. Place to go out and walk, and it gives people, when they get there, something to go do. Let's go out and walk out to the point and hang out on the point. It becomes a real focal place,
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, this is 16 feet width of a pier.
Yeah.
And then you can.
I like the rope railing.
I was trying to get far
kinda
enough where you
have
can
to
see
cut
those
corners.
stilt houses. I don't know.
That's actually pretty cool, Sarah. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Expensive.
I love that. What about,
It's all expensive, right?
yeah, it's very expensive. Instead of all that railing, could we get a version of this that had the rope railing to show us
Probably
what
not.
that would look like for?
I don't think you can. You got
Well, not by
kids.
water.
You got kids.
Oh, that's right, kids, yeah.
I mean, you've got to do that railing out of aluminum.
I'm looking for those stilt houses. They got to be out here, right? There's one.
Oh, they're out there.
That one? Oh no.
It's an iceberg.
Hey, that's my neighborhood there on the right, Sarah.
So you can see the new part.
Yep.
That one out, they're way out here, huh?
There you go. There it is. There's
People
one.
kayak all the way out here?
Yeah.
I've done it. Hmm.
Wow.
It's not that
I
far.
don't know if I could do that. So I don't
Sure
know
you
how
can.
the view would be, but it's kind of a foggy day in my fake Port Richey, so but cool. Okay, so I got the feedback that you like the pier coming out off the end.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll keep playing with that.
But Sarah, could you add that fishing thing behind there where they got a place to go back there and fish? It was off the back side, kind of behind the bathrooms. Yeah. Because that looks like a great place to drop a fishing rod, and it would give them a place to do that,
This guy here, right? Something like
Right.
that.
Just make that deck go all the way around.
Yeah, can you attach the decks together?
I can. I'm not sure about, you know,
Narrow, instead of it being, you said it
conservation laws,
was,
but
you said 16 feet wide?
When we walked out.
yeah,
there,
I can make this more narrow and I can
Yeah,
have it
like make it
winding.
8 and
That would be
going all the
great
way
if it went all
around?
the way around, but it
Because
would
we
be
certainly
really-
wouldn't be able to afford 16 feet going all the way around, but maybe if we
Mhm.
cut it down to 8?
On the northern edge, there's concern about seagrass, which is why we picked that southern edge, because we were able to walk on stone, on limestone.
Mhm.
The northern edge seemed to have seagrass, so we had to deal with that on the northern end.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can show a smaller one that kind of brings you over there. Definitely.
Great.
And have it be connected all the way around just to kind of see what it's like later. Okay, so I got that feedback that you want to see that all the way around. It'll take a minute, so I won't do it live for you because I want your attention on the last but not least, right? The waterfront part.
Yeah, let me get some public comment on Brasher real quick. Is there any public comment on
Okay.
Brasher? Rob? But yeah, go ahead. Name and address for the record.
My name's William Barber, 5418 Tropical Woods Court. I'm right around the corner from Brasher Park. I see the traffic going out there every day because I'm building a new house right there, right off of Old Post Road. And I go out there almost every day, and I see who's out there all day long, and nobody out there to play volleyball. There are a lot of children being brought out there to play, and they were playing out there all the way up to the day you took the playground out. I think that's really important for Brasher Park, is to have that children's playground. Otherwise, I think that's a beautiful concept right there.
Okay, so you think the playground is definitely something that gets utilized, and good information, yeah.
Yes, sir.
'Cause I know it's been dilapidated for a long time. And it's kind of a mud pit, but they were still getting out there using it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even after the storms, they're still coming out there.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, it sounds like Sarah probably need to focus on some kind of playground there as opposed to the volleyball thing.
With
Well, we don't need the
sunshades.
deep six. We don't need the deep six of volleyball court. Is there not enough room there for a volleyball court and a playground?
Oh, there could be.
Yeah, you could probably do both, yeah. I think the point we made is that there is some playground activity happens out there, so we need to make sure we accommodate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It helps. I mean,
Yeah.
you're there, you see it, and
Yeah.
that's very helpful to us.
Rod?
Hello. Rob Kenworthy, 5800 Queener Avenue. As far at the playground, I don't think you need a playground out there. Warfront Park is pretty close. You could maybe expand on that. I kayak out of Brasher quite a bit. Perfect place to kayak. I think maybe with the one concept with the building there out on the pier, I think we put that on the end because you have that small island there that's going to block maybe a sunset going down. If you notice, there's that right there on the island. That's going to block, I think, some of it depending on the time of year where the sun's going to go down. You put that building on the far end, all the way out west, I think that'd be a better spot for it. Kayaking, where it's at now, and that rendition there was good. And then I would think on the north side would be another good spot. Put a nice the sandy beaches are fine. You don't need the crazy launches that they do now, but they are more convenient. Of course, we remove all the rocks. Rocks makes it a little bit tough, especially in low tide. So that was my opinion on that. North side, south side. What I was thinking about with this is there's someplace down south, Florida, that they do concerts out in the water on barges. And if anyone's ever been to Sunset Beach in Tarpon Springs, it's pretty cool. All right, Sunset Beach, they do every Wednesday, every other Wednesday, every third Wednesday, whatever. They do a sunset concert, different types of music as the sun goes down. It's really cool. This may be a little bit small for where Tarpon Springs is because it's a much bigger park, but it's really cool. A lot of people show up. They shuttle people in and out because there's not enough parking. I go down there with the motorcycle. Geez, I could park anywhere. I think that might be something to do here, a barge, because what's good with this, because the people that are complaining about Grand with the music, and they are within You know, they stop at 10 o'clock. The DBs aren't above what they're supposed to be, so it's all legal. They're playing fair. But here, there's nobody living there, pretty much. There's a few people. I mean, Chris, you probably hear it from your backyard, but I used to hear gill dogs from my backyard. But I think that'd be a great place. Put a barge out there, have a generator, have a band come out there, play music out on the water. It doesn't have to be that far out, 30 feet out, 40 feet out. People gather, you watch the sun go down, listen to music. Those are my ideas. What else do I have? See, I've been writing this stuff down. Trex decking is the way to go. And there's various kinds. It's all recycled plastic. So, you know, some of it has some wood particles in it to help, you know, make it more durable. But that's the way to go. It's expensive, probably 3 times the amount of PT if you would use by pressure treated. That's about it for that. Those are my ideas for Asher, I think. One more thing, bathrooms. I was thinking where I lived in New York off the Delaware River. We had 200-year floods in 7 or 8 months, and what they did, they actually put a temporary welcome center on wheels. So when the weather was really bad and the reservoirs would overfill, the spring thaws or whatever, they would move it. My thought would be that with the restroom. Do a movable restroom. If a hurricane comes in, big storm comes in, just hook it up and take it out. You don't have to worry about it. It's cheaper in the long run. You don't have to worry about building a building. You don't have to worry about where the waste is going to go. This would be like a porta potty. So that's the only maintenance you would need. Storm comes in, you take it. You don't have to worry about it being destroyed in any way. And it's a lot cheaper than building a permanent, a building that's going to sustain a hurricane.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob.
Sorry, late.
No, you're good. Anyone else on Brush Park? Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, he was describing something that reminded me of Sunset Pier in Key West. I lost the picture. But there's lots of concerts out there, and it's got the same shape of what I just drew out. But yeah, it's a place to listen to music that's out at the end of a pier. Kind of neat. Okay, any other comments on Brasher Park before I move on to the last park? Or any comments in general about any of the parks before I move to Waterfront Park?
Yep, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna press save. Okay. This last park, we went from lowest level of detail in terms of the modeling tools and everything to higher level of detail. Here we've got, and I'll try not to go too fast. To orient you, you're looking at Waterfront Park from the entrance. And we've got, let's see. You drive in, and I've added a new parking area right on the left-hand side as soon as you're driving in. Kept the little parking that's already there. And then if you're looking over towards the dog park, I did some upgrades and some new amenities over there that I guess I'll take you there now. So when you're looking this way, you can see the playground, there's a splash pad, there's an amphitheater, there's a lot going on. You're looking this way, that's the entrance for the bike ramp or the bike path. And I also have a separated walking path and some bike amenities because I know that this is the terminus for a bike path. So I wanted to cater to the bikers. And then I have a dog park, a little bit more more updated dog park with some places for people to sit and hang out. Small dogs, bigger dogs. I'll spin it around. So you got this concept on the north side of the park, which is an improved dog park, which is what I heard was wanted. Improved dog park. And I didn't hear about the bike amenities, but I thought it's got to go somewhere. So I have that here and some wayfinding to help people orient themselves in this big park. Now we're going to pan over to the road that you drive in, and you got some parallel parking, and you've got some upgraded playgrounds. And I heard that they would like the playground to be connected. So we've got a smaller kids area and a bigger kids area, but it is one fenced in area. That was the feedback. So I included that as a one fenced in area, landscaping, trees, all that stuff. Nice amenities. And there's a gate to come to enter on either side here or on near the parking. So 3 entrances. And then we're spinning over to the splash pad with lots
Love
of
it. That's nice.
I like the splash pad. I heard a lot about the splash pad.
Makes me want to go out to the splash pad.
So we've got the splash pad, and I don't know if this is the right type of thing, but I looked up like a beach, like a pool has this little cabana where you get towels and things like that. I just felt like I needed something, but maybe that's not so right. But you've got all of the uses for your splash pad contained in this fenced in area that is connected to the playground. So here's the concept for, you've got the dog park, entrance for the bikes, splash pad, fun place for kids and adults. Then we're moving over to, we've got this kayak area, which is something that was already there, but I think needed some repairs. So I added that back in and repaired it. And then we've got just a bit of parking. I think that parking exists now, but I added a little food truck type thing. I know that there's restrictions on the uses in this park because of the conservation easement. So temporary, can come in and out as needed, might be something that would be permitted with some seating. And then you've got a restroom facility and a little path that takes you back and around towards the front, which is the amphitheater. And I know there's been discussions about where on the site to put an amphitheater, but landed on the bottom of the hill, and you can see a slight grade. And then as you're moving up, we don't have a lot of trees on site right now, so I didn't add a ton. Trees are kind of expensive, but this is what you're looking at in terms of grade up the hill. Not a huge grade. That could maybe be expanded if this conservation easement would allow it. But then you've got some shade, and the road takes you all the way around that area. A big lawn. And then I added a second parking lot, and it looks like people are already kind of making their own parking lot. So I'm just making it more formal. A second parking lot on the back end. And then I will talk about this bridge at the end. But when you're moving down this way, you've got your kayak launch area now over here. Kept the one that's over there, but I also have one here because I know that was a concept that was discussed, and I actually made it longer. This might not be permitted with the conservation easement restrictions because it would be a new structure, but there may be an opportunity to work with the state and see if that's something that could be permitted. And then we've got, instead of partially elevated, bridge and boardwalk, I've got a longer, fully connected one that takes you from that side over here. And then instead of the bike trail ending, the last place it ends is here. Instead of having the bikers kind of come off and weave into a high pedestrian traffic area and mow anybody over, I have them coming over and around, and the bike trail ending point would be here instead. And in this concept, and then there's a nice place for people to put their bikes up, get some water, and then they can keep walking to go enjoy the win of their finishing their bike trail. And then you have this part is the biker path, and then you have the pedestrian path that is next to it. So they're clearly divided, more comfortable for the walkers and the bikers, I would think. And then I just added another dock structure there was an opening here, so I just snuck one in. We had talked about this interior waterway, being more for folks who like to kayak, but maybe aren't the strongest at kayaking, and they don't want to be out in the open water. This would be a more passive kayaking if they're interested in that. It's kind of like what was the word? Sal and a cove, like a little
Training
cove.
wheels.
Yeah, like your own little cove area. Maybe it's for kids who are learning how to kayak, and they can be supervised carefully. It's all fenced in by nature. Or, there's an opportunity to, I think it's right here, go and dredge out underneath and make this more accessible, and you could go right through out into kayaking in the open water. But right now, I think it would need some work to actually make that accessible for kayakers. So right now people are kayaking, but just in this interior area. I will pause there for feedback because I know that the discussion about the bridge is going to be its own thing. So yeah, what is your feedback so far on what I've shown you?
I'd like to see a
We can
picture.
take it piece by piece if you want.
I'd like to see a picture higher up over so we can see it all at once.
Okay.
It's hard to follow when you were doing, yeah.
Yeah, can you go overhead bird's eye view? Yeah, there you go.
How about sorry, little woozy. So you got your entrance here, dog park, playgrounds, splash pad, kayak, amphitheater, shade structures, new parking, other new parking, and then kayak, big walkway, and then you're back to where we started.
So for a point of reference, the gray kind of driveway path, is that the existing gravel that we have now? Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you keeping it gravel?
I hadn't really thought about the detail of that, but we could change it to anything. I was just thinking more of where it should be.
Yeah.
First.
So that's what I was curious. So basically the same pretty much layout that we have now. You just kind of added onto the sides.
One thing I did change is this walkway. It kind of does this.
Yeah, you're right.
Path. I just kind of cleaned it up a little.
You were going to tell us about that extra bridge you threw in there.
Yeah.
Well, I think you want comments on this portion first.
Oh,
You ready to jump into the?
I'd like to see on the park area for the kids, since it gets so hot, if we could have one of those cupboards like they have at Sims Park, where it's these steel poles and then the vinyl, the vinyl
like have a
sunshades
pole in the middle and
over
have
the top of
shade
it.
sails going off the sides.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
over the top. And then maybe something in the smaller area.
You got shades there.
Yeah, but those would be more like for the parents where the kids are going to be out there baking. At Sims Park, the kids are undercover.
That's all
And that-
Papa needs.
It's great. Take the grandkids there, and it's really nice that they're not burning up. It's hard to take the grandkids anywhere without having them turn beet red in 30 minutes, and you got to go home.
All depends on what Sean says.
Now that's the splash pad and the kids area. Is that pretty much the same footprint that the existing playground is now? Everything fit in there?
Mm-hmm.
How big is that splash pad?
They're pretty good size.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A little wonky.
I mean, the size of it is not as important as if it flushes water up in the air and splashes everybody. They want to get wet,
I know, I just wondered how,
The
how
covered
big is it?
area for the parents, that's great.
But it'll be busy, so you want a pretty good size one.
It looks like 30 feet across, doesn't
It
it?
looks like it, yeah.
All of council will need to fit on it at one time.
Laying down.
Looks like it is 45.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Give
nice.
or take. And I didn't add any structures like little play things. I saw in some photos. But,
Different nozzles and structures and stuff on it.
Well, we're going to have to add some kind of a water filtration system. There's got to have something built in there, right?
Don's got experience with that.
Vice Mayor, there's two concepts that you can go with. And if you go with the filtration system, your cost is going to skyrocket on this project right here. But you've also got a straight through system where the water will just go straight through the system out to the water. I guess you could say there'd have to be a location where the water would actually dump itself. And what you do is you modify that park with timers, and you make you actually make the water devices, if you want, cannons, or just there's a variety of different things that you can add to a water park for the kids. But you make those activated, so they have to activate them to use them, so that you're managing the water. And then you can have a timer, that actually runs the system as you see it going now. And then you have your shut off times. And what it'll do is the water cost won't be as expensive as the filtration piece. So in the end, you're actually saving money without having that filtration system, based on the cost, based on the services, based on the constant maintenance. But it's an option that's there.
Sure.
Okay.
And I've done it very affordable in Pinellas County.
Okay.
yeah, it's the same footprint, the playground, but now we add this new splash pad. It's a little more compact, but
Could we get an option, a layout option of having the, what do you call that? What's the band area where instead of the amphitheater, instead of that facing the water, having the water behind the amphitheater? Just
having taking the amphitheater and moving it to a different location.
Yeah, to where people would be looking at the band, and then you would see the waterfront behind the band.
You can watch the band and the sunset at the same time.
Yeah, the band and the sunset at the same time, basically, yeah.
That sounds sexy.
You didn't you project music out into the residential area,
Oh,
so it would be one.
Sarah, can you overlay the conservation easement? I think that's going to interfere with the conservation easement, putting it over there.
Plus, you lose the natural grade of people who
Right.
will attend. So, like your people will be closer to the pavilion, but as the grade goes up, everyone will have an equal seeing view
I see.
of that. That's why we positioned it that. in
Otherwise,
that
it'd be
direction.
backwards.
Yeah, you'd have
I see.
to change the entire layout of the park.
I think the way that it is now, Christine, is probably the best because you get the best seating, not just the shaded areas, but you could also work in that conservation area for seating in a place if it's positioned like it is now,
And it does kind of look like you've got the water behind it. From this angle, you have the water behind it anyway.
Oh, yeah,
Right where
exactly.
it is. So it's fine, yeah. I just didn't see it from the right angle. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And also you'll see a lot of mangroves that I don't have in here. So that might obstruct your view a bit.
I mean, again, if we trim them up and give them all a haircut, like most of us guys need right now, we could have mangroves that were high and tight, and we could see past them.
Well, we're limited what we can do with it, aren't we, Sal? With the mangroves, we're kind of limited since they're 6 feet high. How far can we trim them?
You can trim them. You can trim them down to 6 feet, I think.
Yeah, you can
And yeah,
you can bring them down incrementally each year as long as you maintain that. So
Cool.
if they exceed a certain height naturally, then you can't touch them at all. But I think
that's why we gotta. Yeah, that's why we have to
I think
not
that's
wait
in the
until we
20. I
get to
think
that
it's like
height.
once you start pushing like 20 feet, but I have to check the regulations. Take a look at that.
Sal, do you know the fence that's on the north side of Waterfront? It got kind of bendy there during the hurricanes. Has that been straightened? Or is that something we still need to work?
That's something we still need to work on, but it hasn't been done yet. I'd have to check with Daryl and see, if he's doing that. But we were going to talk to the same fence company that's going to be working on Ulster anyway because of that. So.
Hey, Sarah, at the beginning of your presentation, you showed that one amphitheater that was built-in stormwater stuff. And there's some grant money through the county that for stormwater and whatnot. We were kind of asking the folks at the county about that, and I mentioned that specifically about the amphitheater being co-designed with something to handle that. So there might be some opportunity there for us to manage stormwater better and have the amphitheater as well and get it paid for. So I don't know if that's probably not taking into consideration in your design or whatever, and I don't even know if that would be something viable in that area, but something to look at.
I agree with you completely. If it has all these co-benefits for pollution, then maybe there's some opportunity to help pay for it by the state. The only concern I'm not as familiar with the requirements of the conservation easement, which you see in blue here, and whether the park as a whole, even if it's outside this strict boundary, like also has its own sort of requirements that they need to meet as a park. But I know there's a strict boundary in this blue area. You can't have new structures over the water. So I had already included some of these newer structures. They're replacements of structures that were previously there. So maybe that's allowed, but that's the only thing I know for sure would be restricted is new structures over the water. So if you're doing any conservation or any stormwater mitigation, maybe if it's outside of this area, it could be okay. You'd think it would be a net positive. So for conservation purposes, it would be permitted.
Because I know there's in that treed area there to the right of your parking lot and all that, there's actually water in there, I believe. I believe it's just overgrown, but I think there's actually somewhat of a lake in there. One of the residents was talking about clearing that out. And again, I don't know what role it plays in stormwater or not, but
Whoa. Let's go to Waterfront Park. Yes, so here we are existing. And now I can move to the bridge. There we go. So there's discussions about pedestrian bridge.
before you start the bridge, let me see if there's any public comment on the park. Any public comment on Waterfront Park and any of that stuff? Rob?
I was invited, sorry.
Yeah. And I'll open it back up after the bridge too to talk about.
Oh, well, I have nothing about the bridge, but I have stuff leading up to that. Robert Kenworthy, 5800 Queen Avenue. The dog park, my opinion, there's a lot of dog parks around. This is probably the worst one I've seen. It's too small. You need a small dog and large dog, and maybe combine it. The good example is look at the Meadows in Newport Richey. That's a great park. They just redid that, I think, last year. It's unbelievable. And then there's also Anclote Golf Park down Holiday, which is huge. We don't have that. I think it's 40 acres, but.
Hey, before you,
yeah.
Hey, Sarah, on that dog park, you expanded that, right? So like that, where that fence is in the middle, that's where the existing footprint is, and you were kind of out the.
Because there's a lot of room they could expand that to. I mean, it's just wasted space going up to the fence, and then also to the left of that, as you're facing the dog park. So the land's there, just needs to be utilized. And like I said, small dog, large dog, and then combine them. My dogs get along with everyone. It's just the other dogs don't like them sometimes.
One point of clarity, I put it as far as I could before the conservation.
Oh, conservation easement. Yeah.
So there may be an invisible barrier there.
What about left to right, or?
This is looking north, so I went as far as I could. I could clearly make this
west. You really can't go.
Plug to it. But on the east, I could maybe if there's a setback. But besides that, I could go.
Well, that looks like it. You could probably almost double the size of the park, based on what she's got there.
There's room there.
Yeah, if you go east and also south, you should be fine. West, I see you can't, and there's not much room going north.
Like the idea of putting another park for bigger dogs next to that, leave that for small dogs.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to. Just right now, it's too small for any dogs you put in there, and to double the size would be good. My opinion. I know a lot of people go there. I go. I mean, when I show up my dogs, they leave, and I only got Chihuahuas. I don't know. Anyway, so the parking, as you talked, the parking was great. We definitely need more parking.
A friend of mine said something about small dogs. He said that you're going fishing for a real dog is what the small dogs are.
I'm telling you what. I'll tell you what. They're like 4.5 pounds. They both think they're Rottweilers, especially little man. He's like this big. Yeah, he's an unbelievable dog. So you open up the mangroves. That's the way to do. And you know, back in the '80s, there was a pier that actually went out west of the park, probably 30 feet. And if it was mentioned that if that was something that was already there at one point, it could be
Structure, yeah.
Yeah,
It was. I mean, I've seen pictures of it, and
I read the language,
right there. I mean, it's kind of showing that it's there.
could rebuild anything that
Right.
had been there.
Those-
There's an exhibit B, and as long as it was on the exhibit B, then we could get it back, I believe. And I believe Nancy addressed that too and thought the same, that we could get anything back that we had formerly had.
So
What if it's larger than what it formerly was? I
I'm
think
not
that's
sure
what
about
it's
that.
showing.
it was a pretty decent size from the pictures
Yeah.
I've seen. I mean, I could get the pictures, but actually, you know, it just
It's amazing, it's all conservation area, but it's all man-made. The whole park was created from the dredging of all the canals before Ritchie. There was a swamp.
yeah.
We made it, and Mr. and Mrs. Bookman sodded it all, made it a park.
What else you got, Rob?
What else? Now, there's another thing, and this is, I mean, you have the amphitheater, great. I mean, it's the amphitheater has to be set up that way because as Woodstock was, they had, you know, the bands were down below. I'm from the Woodstock area, and the mountain just went up like that, and everyone just sat, and it was great. But I wasn't there. I was 13. I just lived there after the fact. There's a they call themselves Rockin' 1000. They're from Italy, and what they do, they get 1,000 musicians. They have like 50 guitarists, 50 drummers. It's all these different people from different bands, different groups, and they all play together. It's one huge. It's just amazing to see. Pick like 5 songs, and they're all playing. You got 50 guys playing drums, 50 guys on the guitar, 50 guys on the bass. You got pianos. It's just incredible. Something like that might be with local bands. Might work there if we got this thing going. I'm sure local bands wouldn't mind doing it. And if it came to the point of money, we got a lot of businesses here. I'm sure these businesses would say, let's kick in some money. This is going to be good for the city. People come around because no one does that. This is something that no one does. You ever hear of it? No. And it's pretty incredible to watch. It's on YouTube. It's called Rockin' 1000. Get sponsors. And when, what else? Movie nights. How about movie night? Do movie nights. You got the amphitheater. I probably work there. Put up a screen.
I like to do it close to the beach and other
Yeah,
places.
yeah, sure. Yep. I mean, you know, Newport Richie does it.
They do that in Sims too, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, the amphitheater's got to be top of my list to try to put something in for sure.
Yeah.
So we need some kind of facility for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. All right.
Thanks, Rob.
I think that's about it.
Anybody else? No comment? Okay, on to the bridge, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Okay. The bridge. So, there's all this, I guess it's better if I show you on here, how close we are to we're in the waterfront district, how close we are to Nix Park and all of these the commercial district. Why can't we connect and have a pedestrian bridge? So that's what I'm showing. And clearly, it can be any sort of structural style, but the idea that we have a bridge, I kept I didn't model it, but I kept the kayak launch where it is and just added a bridge to take you over the water.
What's your clearance of that in the water? Because there's still the opportunity for boats to go back past that, and depending on what they're going to do, the property owners that own that other side, they may want to have docks or something. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing.
What I'm showing here is the low point, like a 48 feet, but this could be designed higher.
Higher, yeah.
Yeah, I just
What's
had
a
it
good
sort
clearance,
of
Bob?
get the water.
Standard.
Well, you can't dredge that out, so you're limited to size boats.
Right.
You got like a deck boat
Yeah.
going in and out there, you probably need at least 6 feet. And that would be maybe at high tide 6 feet.
And the landowner on the other side would have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and is John Gray okay with something like this, you think?
I think that section's out of the, you're talking about the conservation easement?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's out of the
With the
conservation
trustees.
easement. It's out of the conservation easement, so we had a standard ask from FCP. The conservation easement was this extra layer. I think we're just outside of it where the position
The
is.
FTC is fine with it.
With everything we do, we'd have to let them
Right.
know what we're doing and get
Because it's
final
not
approval.
just where it touches down, it's, they're walking across.
Yeah,
the road.
I know Brian actually talked about that in his some of his plans. They'd like to do something to cross over.
I would think they would want to, but I'm just saying, it's not just where the bridge touches. There you go, then they gotta
Yeah.
cross the.
No, I think it's, having that connection across there would be really nice to connect the park to the commercial district.
It would be.
We had talked about with staff the view, the sight line between the street that brings you to the park, and if we had that bridge, you would be able to see it from the street, and maybe there's an opportunity to have our logo hanging from the bridge,
We could
like a
zip line.
photo spot. I don't have
There's your solution.
it right now, I can
That's what I was
say,
asking for.
Yeah, can we do zip line over instead?
but
Love it.
You can, if you want.
I wasn't sure if that was a serious question, but I love it.
It is a serious question.
We probably could. So the alternative is a bridge over here, which I think has really nice sight lines as well. Sorry, it's gonna force me to save, which is smart. Okay. So then we could redesign the parking lot so it's more inviting, and you kind of arrived and you get this nice view of the amphitheater. But from diagonally from this lot here that's connected by a sidewalk over and into the park.
I kind
Instead
of
of
like
having to
myself.
walk
I
all
kind of
the
like the
way
more
to
direct
the-
route. As
Yeah,
opposed
it's
to
more
that.
direct than having to walk all. Imagine if you're hanging out here and you want to come over here, you have to walk all the way over
Yeah.
and all
Because
the way.
you could. That's kind of the path now. You walk out the entrance, come down the sidewalk. I mean, that just kind of cuts off a little bit, but the direct access on the back side would be the shortest.
Yes, that would be more direct.
Yeah, I
Like at
agree
the
with you,
concert
Eric. I
when
like
come
that. I
across
like
it.
the
and,
first
you, and you get a
rendition.
view too as you're going across. You can actually see the water. Which,
It's a swinging bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Can we not make this fun? It could be a swinging bridge,
yeah, there you go.
you know?
Yeah, that's,
We need something that's stable. We need something to hold up. We don't need if you get a swinging bridge, that thing I'm gonna swing out of there.
Well, we can make it fun.
trying to cut
And do you
costs,
think-
Chris. Trying to cut costs.
I'm
think
trying
the
to keep it
business
there for
owners-
about 20 years.
Do you think the business owners would be interested in kind of like the Tampa River Walk, like you've got, or Manatee County, Bradenton has one where you can walk along the waterfront all connected?
Yeah, that's the
I
goal.
think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then it would come over to connect you to the waterfront park.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
So the
pretty
developer that owns that peninsula there that goes down that canal, that's their design is a walkway all along there and around the
super cool.
front. And I think that the existing business owners would be amenable to trying to make that connection happen.
Okay, great. What else would you like to see in the final concept plans that we developed for this?
Can we have anything that's high so that we can see out, like at the other park?
I'm sorry?
An observation tower type? Oh, that's right.
Ah.
We can't there because it's new build.
Well, I don't know if they would restrict it just because it's a new build. I know they would in this blue area, but that's just anything that happens in this park, I think they would have to be involved in the planning.
Well, rebuilding that old pier you could elevate that, obviously.
There's the green area to the left of the stage, right there. Um,
Mhm.
Not to just beat this horse to death, but if we don't want a volleyball net over at the other park, over at Brasher, that might be a good place for the volleyball net over by, because we did have youth playing volleyball at the concerts over at Gill Dogs, and they might do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
and that kind of looks like it looked like that area didn't have a clear sit there for the concert, but
Yeah, it might be nice to have something there that you could do other than watch the concert.
I think it does have a clear view of the concert, and leaving it open gives you the ability to put a larger crowd in there.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a really good band come in there, that gives you not going to fit over under the shade trees.
Or if you're doing food trucks and stuff, it still gives you, if you're doing practically anything, it gives you more room.
Yeah, and I think if you build something out in there, it causes you not to be able to utilize that for multi-purpose.
What about that area when you're coming into the park? The dog park's on the right side. What about right there on the left side?
There's a parking lot there, isn't there, Lisa?
Yeah, she opened
No.
parking. You talking?
Oh,
The new parking area?
Parking lot there.
Yeah, and it definitely needs additional parking for sure.
Yeah, we need all the parking we can get for sure.
I mean,
Yeah, that's all parking right now.
not sure that we even need one. It's just something to think about. It's a beachy kind of thing, a volleyball net. And, you know, people did use it before over at Gill Dogs, but I don't know if we need one.
We could always do that in the future, Christine.
Yeah, find a spot.
You know, yeah, if we said, hey, you know, we really want a volleyball team or want something, we could always pick a place and put it in there. That's not even a hard thing to do. It's sand and a couple poles, you know?
Right. Just gives youth something to do, you know. Just trying to think of giving our youth places to go and things to do.
Well, if we look at Olsner or whatever, and we were to purchase that additional property, and then that'd be an ideal spot for that, especially integrating with
That would be a
beach.
great spot. You're right about that, Eric. That'd be really good.
What? Where?
Oh, if we were to expand Olsner, that lot, and do something like that over there.
Yeah, that would be.
Put volleyball over there, have a little beach for the kids, and that'd be nice over there.
Spot for your,
We'd be known for music over at this one and sports and fun over the other one, you know?
We have it all. I can't imagine if we could really get this done. I mean, it would just be incredible.
Yeah, now we need to figure out how much it's going to cost us to do it and get
Right.
busy spending some money. I want to go back broke next year to Tallahassee and tell them we need more.
Yeah, Sarah, what in your proposal, all this stuff was included, right? That
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
said all these structure stuff. These are included in your proposal, correct? I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I'll bring my hammer and
Yeah.
get to work. Okay,
Let me open up public comment on the bridge. Public comment on the bridge.
right.
We got one.
I'll make it quick. It's juicy. Oh, yeah, sure. Rob Kimberly, 5800 Queen Avenue. The two bridges, I kind of like the one that goes diagonally, and I'll tell you why. The previous, the person that has purchased that property wants to put shops and all that stuff. When I walk into a place like, you go into massive flea market, you kind of come into the middle. It's like, which way do I go? You go to a fair, it's like, which way do I go? Here, you start in the beginning. You walk all the way around. You check them all out, and then you come back.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to start in the middle. And because if you start in the middle, you say, hey, there's only 3 or 4 over there. Oh, but most of them are over here. You'll take the right. You won't see the ones that are left. Might be the best ones there. That's my opinion. That's it.
Interesting. Thanks, Rob. Anybody else? Okay, back to you, Sarah.
Yeah, I can understand that point, and I don't know exactly what's going on with these property owners and if they're going to be a part of the Riverwalk, but they might lose out on the activity if everybody just turns away and kind of goes down here, never gets to visit.
Well,
them.
it would like Rob said, that would kind of feed out into the beginning of the commercial because they're talking about 2 floors of commercial along there, as opposed to bringing it right in the center of it. So
Right.
it's a thought.
Good point.
Okay. Any other comments on Waterfront Park or really any of the parks before we wrap it up? I just have a couple I think a couple slides to wrap things up.
No, I think we're good.
Good, okay. Jump back in. Do I? Oh, I really only have 2 slides. So next steps, really the next steps look like I will take all this feedback and fold in the concepts and the ideas, even if they're not perfectly refined ideas, I can show something visually so that you have something to work with when you go off and start to price things out or work with engineering. So that's the goal, is to wrap this all up into a nice size document. And I'll also send all the modeling files to staff so they have them, so architects and engineers can use them. And I guess I know that folks will be watching this later and residents might have feedback, so I wanted to provide my contact information. Please do contact me and let me know what you think, and that can be included into this process. I'm thinking it's February, so throughout the month of February, I'll accept comments and feedback from anybody. And then in March, at some point, we'll turn around a final document and deliver that to staff.
So is it possible to put this out on the web so people can kind of push it out and let them provide feedback?
Yeah, we can.
Is that a question for me?
No, I was just checking staff, make sure we could put that out there.
I hope this is recorded.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I'm happy to send still images or videos too, if you all need them throughout the next month to keep thinking about ideas. But with that, I really appreciate the opportunity to work with you all. This has been a lot of fun. And thank you for your feedback. And I look forward to the next steps. So have a great evening.
Thank
you, Sarah. You've been doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all the board business. We didn't have anything on the agenda for board comments, but I'll extend that courtesy to the board if there's any additional comments. Member Burke? Just a few calls?
Oh, I got this.
Okay. Member Hubbard?
No.
Member Sullivan?
No.
Vice Chair Mayor?
I just, this is really exciting, being here for 10 years and, kind of living off the short tails of what everybody else has done. This brings a lot to the city. And I just think it's important that we really get some legs on this and make it run in our tenure. We don't let this go and make this just something that we looked at, we envisioned, and we let go. So I think it's important we get some legs on this.
Yeah.
But great job, everybody. I really appreciate the expertise that Sarah brought to the table.
Yeah, and I echo that. Obviously, we appreciate Tampa Bay Regional Planning Commission for helping us with this. You guys did a great job, and we got a lot to think about, and the future looks exciting. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.